I am Romanda Noble Watson, the Director of Public Relations and Communications with the South Carolina High School League, and I am excited to welcome you into today's webinar. It is definitely going to be a treat for you all as we have our Student Athlete Advisory Council leadership here with us to speak to our middle school students today. Unfortunately, Commissioner Singleton is unavailable, but he sends his well wishes to you all and good luck as you go through this season. So to get us pumped and ready to learn and engage this morning, I welcome to the screen Dr. Cottrell Rodan, the Director of Educational Services here at the South Carolina High School League.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Welcome in.
Welcome. So I'm going to go ahead and try and share my screen. Here we are. Okay. So welcome. So glad to have all of our middle schools with us today to our Middle School Leadership Summit. So what is the South Carolina High School League? I know you're probably like, what is that? And so basically we govern all things having to do with educational-based athletics. And so that includes sportsmanship, your coaches' education, all of your health and safety and wellness, and then student services. And that's what we're doing today, is to help you guys with leadership, because we want you guys at the middle school level to already come in ready to be amazing leaders. And with that in mind, we want to first go ahead and give you some shout outs. All right. So we are so glad to have Pillion, Banks Trail, Ebenezer Middle, Riverside Middle, St. Andrews Middle, Alcorn Middle, Boiling Springs Middle, Carvers Bay Early College and Career High School, Liberty Middle, Gray Collegiate Academy, Abner Creek Middle, Chapin Middle, Wright Middle. Oh, did I already say American Legion? We put them on there twice. That's no problem. American Leadership Academy, William J. Clark, Star Iva, Pleasant Hill Middle, Fort Middle, Fort Middle, gotcha, sorry, Blacksburg Middle, Bluffton Middle, Gettys Middle, Gilbert Middle, Woodland Middle, West Oak Middle, and Jackson Middle School. And then, of course, W.G. Sanders. All right, so we have a treat for you guys today. We actually have our Student Advisory Council members here. And so they were actually selected from members from all over the state to represent their student athletes. And so it's a great treat for them to be here and speak with you guys today. So here are some norms that I want you to take care of. Take notes, get your pen and your notebook ready, reflect. Write down what you thought was most important. Ask questions. So make sure you're using the chat. You can put your name, your school, and then the question that you would like to ask these student athletes. And then lastly, challenge yourself to use these strategies as you go through your season so you can become great leaders at the middle school level and then move on to the high school level. So go ahead and exit out of that. All right, and back to Mrs. Noble Watson.
Well, thank you, Dr. Rodan. I'm not sure about our middle schoolers, but I am definitely pumped and ready to hear our SAC leadership. So we will begin. Our first speaker is the historian for the Student Athlete Advisory Council, Akko Taylor. Akko is a senior at Westwood High School, where he has a 4.0 GPA. He is a captain on the Westwood football team, and after high school, he plans to attend college, where he plans to play football and major in sports media. Last season, he was named Player of the Week. So please welcome to the screen, Akko Taylor.
Thank you so much, Miss Romanda Noble Watson, for that amazing introduction. And I'm so happy to be here. My name is Akko Taylor. I go to Westwood High School, 5A, and I'm so happy to be talking to everybody today. So today I will be talking about leadership firstly. Leadership means to lead by example and to have integrity, and to lead your peers, teammates, and friends to success. One thing about leadership I use leadership for is to help my teammates, peers into reaching a goal and trying to push them to the limit or push them to lead others around them, and especially in bad environments. I use leadership on the football field, in the classroom, by trying to lead my everybody to reach their goal. Sportsmanship and community. I create a good sportsmanship at my school and outside of school. I try to put my friends and my peers in better environments to encourage them to reach their goals and become successful. I know there's a lot of distractions, especially at the high school level, and I know there's distractions in middle school that I know of, and I just try to push them into having a better environment and trying to impact their behaviors, because I know depending on who you hang around, you can develop good positive traits and be proactive. And that's one thing I try to invite my friends or invite my teammates into community services, or I try to invite them into events that goes on at my school. So that's one thing I try to let everybody know there's more positive things in the world than distractions and just doing the wrong thing. I had to go through a hard choice adversity. At one point when I was an underclassman in high school, was a three-sport athlete. I ran track, I played basketball and football for my high school. And it was a point where I was going into my upperclassmen years, and I had to show my commitment and my time to one sport. I tried my best for when I was a freshman and sophomore to try to maintain both, but I was getting to a more higher level. I was making it to the varsity level, and I had to commit my time and effort into one sport. Both workouts were during the same time and same day, and both coaches really wanted me to commit to one sport, and I had to go with the better opportunity and the best situation to set me up, and I had to choose football. And mind you, I love both sports, basketball and football, but that's one thing adversity I had to go through, especially maintaining. I know in middle school, y'all go through adversity, especially losing games and winning games. And I know it's going to be distractions. And one thing about it, adversity is going to happen. It just depends on how you handle it. Adversity can push you, and adversity can impact you in a bad way. But one thing about adversity is always just going to push you to be stronger and try to push you to the next level. As a middle school athlete, I wish when I was in middle school that I stayed poised and not letting everyone beat me down. I know in middle school that you want everybody's praise and everybody to congratulate you in middle school, especially when you're doing a high performance, whatever you're playing, basketball, football, track, or any sport that you love to do. I know you want to get your like clap it up or applause. And that's one thing I was looking for. In middle school, that's when I just played to please my teammates and coaches, just trying to get that applause. But one thing I was forgetting is the love for my sport. In middle school, I played basketball, and all I wanted to do was to show out for my friends and my teammates. And that's one thing that kind of beat me down. I wasn't playing for my sport. I was playing to benefit everybody. And that's one thing I want to tell y'all today. If you love your sport, play for you and play for the fun of that sport, and try to not please your coaches because you don't play for your coach. You play for the love of the sport. One thing, coach advice that impacted my life and changed my life is knowing your why. Why do you wake up early in the morning to practice? Why do you go after school knowing you could hang out with your friends and go to practice? Why do you run when your coach tell you to run and you're tired and know you can just go home and play the game and play 2K all day? Why do you push yourself to that limit? Why do you want to play in games? Why do you want to compete against others? Know your why. Know why you play your sport. Know why you get tired and your coach is yelling at you, and why do you show up the next day and try to keep going, try to compete and compete every single day. Always know your why. Why do you do something? Why do you work this hard? And once you know your why, you will understand the love for your sport. And don't forget to have fun. Like I said in the last slide, having fun is the main thing of sports. Don't try to please others, please yourself. Always don't try to please your coaches. That's one thing that can mess up your performance at your sport, is playing for someone else. At the end of the day, sports is supposed to be fun, and especially know your why you play the sport. Always have fun. Don't forget to have fun, because at the end of the day, that's what sports are made for. And lastly, you have to work hard than your competition, because there's always someone that wants your spot. At the middle school level, starters, basketball, starters for football, for the relays, for track, there's always going to be somebody out there, either your teammate or somebody, your opponent, are going to want your spot. That's why you got to practice in school, outside of school, because everybody wants your spot specifically. Everybody wants that spotlight. So you can't get comfortable. Never get comfortable, never get satisfied, especially if you want to make it to a collegiate level. I know in middle school you have big dreams and you want to make it to collegiate level, but one thing you have to do is work for it, and work for it when you don't feel like it. That's one thing that can help you be successful. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Akko Taylor, and yes, today is my 18th birthday. Thank y'all for having me. Thank you.
Akko, stay with us.
Happy birthday.
Stay with
Thank
us for a minute, and happy birthday, Akko. We want to thank you for spending some of your birthday with us. I know that those points you gave, lead by example and have integrity. Do it for the love of the sport. That is really, really big, because if you don't have that love for the sport, you're probably not going to do that well in it. And work harder than your competition. So that is truly important. But I do have a question. You talked about leadership. You talked about leading by example. Now you go out and work hard, and there's someone who's working as hard as you, but they may be having a bad day or something. How do you get your teammates to follow you when they think, hey, we're on the same level. Why should I be listening to you? I'm a senior just like you. What do you do to get them to follow you?
One thing I try to do is to build a relationship with them. And one way I have to let them follow me, because I always got to perform on the field as best as with my ability. If they see me mess up and I get on them to mess up, it's going to be hard to understand. So I try to do the fundamentals right at practice, or try to talk to them, or talk to them through the rep or drill that we're doing, and actually trying to develop trust, because without trust, they won't follow me. So that's one thing I have to, as a teammate and as a team captain on my team, that I have to add trust into all of my teammates, because that's one way I can get them to lead, so I can help them lead into success.
Thank you so much, Akko. And we definitely hope you enjoy your birthday. And thank you again for spending part of your 18th milestone birthday with us. Enjoy what you do, and please be careful in however you decide to go out and have fun with your friends.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you. And next up, we have the Secretary of the Student Athlete Advisory Council, Paris Mays. Paris is the daughter of Dr. Tiffany Mays. She is a senior at Blacksburg High School, leading the class with a 5.2 GPA, and she also attends Spartanburg Community College for dual enrollment. Paris is a member of the varsity volleyball team, varsity basketball team, and varsity softball teams at Blacksburg. She is an active participant in many clubs in the school, such as the Blacksburg Hosta Club, where she is currently the South Carolina State reporter for the organization. Paris is the Blacksburg High School senior class president and student body secretary. She is a member of the Empowered Girls Club, the RADA Club, which stands for Rise Above Drugs and Alcohol, the National Technical Honor Society, the National Senior Beta Club, the National Honor Society, the National Math Honor Society, the National Science Honor Society, and a graduate of the Junior Leadership Program. Paris is a 4-year member of Elite Society, and she attends Indian Hill Baptist Church. Please welcome to the screen, Paris Mays. And don't forget, if you have questions for Paris, please put them in the chat.
Thank you for that warm welcome. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. My name is Paris, if you didn't hear, and I attend Blacksburg High School. I currently play varsity volleyball, varsity softball, and varsity basketball. And what I like the most about high school sports is it's a joy in the sense of camaraderie that comes with being a part of the team. So basically what that means is just I enjoy like being in the moment and, just making fun memories with my team. To me, leadership is all about setting a positive example and motivating others to achieve their goals. It's about being responsible, respectable, and fostering teamwork. Also, I try to maintain an optimistic attitude, and when faced with challenges, I try to face it head on and be respectful. So down below, I included 2 pictures of me showing leadership, I think. And on the left is me at a hosted conference with my other organization, just basically leading the state in and giving a positive attitude. And then on the right is me at a volleyball game, and it's just me and the captain's meeting. And as you can see, I'm smiling, being a positive leader. Creating a culture of good sportsmanship starts with respect. Respect for your teammates, your opponents, and the game itself. It's about playing fair, celebrating victories with humility, and accepting losses with grace. And so to expand on that, when I say accepting losses with grace, it's like when you lose, you can't win them all. So you just want to be like respectful, I know it's hard to get, unupset, but just try to say, positive. And then when you have victories, celebrating with grace, don't, showboat. And I know it's hard not to showboat, but just try to like be very respectful. And also I just say community service and it is an extension of this respect. And, it's about giving back to the community and making a positive impact beyond the sports arena. I believe that when we contribute to our community, we can build stronger bonds and create a supportive environment for everyone. You can skip one more. There we go. I've encountered my share of adversity in athletics, from injury to tough losses. And one significant challenge was when I was having a bad game, but I had to continue to push forward for my team. And so, for example, in basketball, if I'm off, I'm not going to keep shooting and I'm not going to get down because that's just going to bring the team morale down. So, I'm going to keep pushing forward and maybe I'm going to do my job on defense. Even if it's not offense, I'm still going to continue, to work as hard as I can. I overcame it by staying focused on my goals, seeking support from my coaches, hey, asking my coach, what's wrong, what I need to do better, and maintaining a positive mindset. And this experience has taught me resilience and the importance of perseverance and to push through and be strong. In these moments of struggle is when we learn the most about ourselves and grow stronger. If I could go back and give advice to my middle school self, I would say enjoy the journey and don't stress too much about the outcome. Basically, I just say, focus on improving your skills, build strong relationships with your teammates, and have fun. I feel like in middle school, it's more fun. It was more fun for me than high school. Not saying high school sports aren't fun, but, just enjoy the moment, have fun because, it matters, but it doesn't. And just focus on, building yourself. The journey is just as important as the destination, and every step along the way is a valuable learning experience. That's just a great quote I wanted to leave y'all with. The best coaching advice I've ever received is control the controllables. This means focusing on what you can control, your effort, your attitude, and your preparation. So your effort, that's in your mind. That's something you can control. My softball coach always says, you can't control effort. Your attitude, that's something that's within, and your preparation is how you prepare. How much do you put into the sport? This mindset has helped me stay grounded and perform at my best, knowing that while I can't control everything, I can always control how I respond to the challenges that come my way. Being part of multi-sports team has given me a unique perspective on the importance of versatility and adaptability. Each sport has its own set of skills and demands, and balancing them requires dedication and the time management. However, the rewards are immense, and I've learned how to switch gears quickly, how to apply lessons from one sport to another, and how to appreciate the diverse talents and strengths of my teammates across the sports. So if you're thinking about, playing multiple sports in high school, I say go for it, just be ready because it is tough, but, just have that time management and you have to be dedicated and you can't give up easily. However, high school sports have taught me the value of hard work and persistence, whether it's early morning practices, late night games, or the countless hours spent refining my skills. The effort I put in is always worth it, and I always see the outcome. The sense of accomplishment I feel when I see improvement or achieve a personal goal is unparalleled, and it's a dedication that fuels my passion and drives me to keep pushing the limits. In conclusion, high school sports have made and have been a transformative part of my life. They have taught me the importance of leadership, sportsmanship, and community service, and have helped me to develop resilience and a positive mindset. They have also provided me invaluable life skills and lifelong friendships. As I continue my journey, I carry with me the lessons and experiences from my time in high school sports, knowing that they have shaped me into the person I am today. Thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat like she said, or there's my personal email.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Paris. You use the line that I always like to use for myself in everything that I do is control the controllables. If you can't control it, you have to go for it and try to figure out a better way. But we do have a question. This question comes from Graylin Burton. He's a football and baseball player at Star Ava Middle. And first he said, we are so impressed by all the things that you're involved in. What strategies help balance academic responsibilities and athletic commitments for you?
So for me, I try not to procrastinate, and I know it's hard, but I really try to get the work done, like most of it before the due date, and just, start ahead. So I'm not waiting, the last day or when I get home from practice to like cram it in. So I say, try to be early on things and just try to go ahead and start it, even if you're not feeling it. And I just say, don't procrastinate and just prioritize your time.
All right. Don't procrastinate and prioritize. Those are some great words. Well, thank you so much again, Paris. We're going to have you to stick around until the end. And before we go to the next speaker, I need to bring the birthday boy, Akko, back to the screen. I have a question for him. And this question came in from, first they said, Akko, happy birthday from Star Ava Middle School athletes. And they want to know what made you choose football over basketball?
Well, firstly, thank you so much for the birthday wish. And one reason why I picked football over basketball was during the time being, it was getting closer to football season, and I already was at a starting spot. And I know if I would have went to basketball, it would have gave other of my teammates to try to steal that spot. And my spot was very secure at that point. So I was like, I have a starting spot for football, and I will really have to really work hard on that depth chart to get into basketball because it was summer workouts. So the team has not created yet. So I was like, I'm just gonna continue the football and just rock out to the season upcoming.
So you went to the short thing. But thank you for getting back on screen. I wanted to make sure that I got that question into you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So our third speaker this morning serves as the Vice President for the South Carolina High School League Student Athlete Advisory Council, Matthew Blocker. Matthew is a senior at Irmo High School. He is a member of the Irmo football team, where he is one of the captains, and track and field team. Academically, he is a member of the National Honor Society, the Beta Club, the International Baccalaureate Program, and he carries a 5.1 GPA. Matthew is a participant of the 2024 National Consumers League Life Smarts and 2024 Palmetto Boys State. He has over 100 community service hours. Matthew is a member of the Brooklyn Baptist Church, where he was a member of the Youth and Teen Day Committee. After high school, he plans to become a special agent for the FBI or CIA. His life motto is, do what makes you happy. Others' opinions don't matter. Welcome to the screen, Matthew Blocker.
Good morning. Good morning.
And once again, please put any questions you have for Matthew in the Q&A, and we'll get to them as time permits.
You can go to the first slide. As Ms. Noble Watson said, my name is Matthew Blocker. I'm a senior at Irmo High School. This year I'm a football captain, and after high school, I want to get a degree in criminology and join either the CIA or FBI. So leadership is making the people around you better. There's not like a way leadership is like determined. It can be in many different ways. The reason I use this picture is because leadership is thought to be in sports or like in a political sense most of the time. This is when I went to San Diego for the National Life Smarts competition, and I showed leadership in this because I was the captain of our team. But you don't always have to be athletic or in a political sense to show leadership. The second thing I want to touch on is accountability and integrity. The greatest thing about leadership is that you get to hold people accountable and other people get to hold you accountable. So if I get on you, you should be just as willing to get on me. And integrity, that's important because you have to do what's right when no one's watching because someone always is watching. You can go to the next slide. Adversity. So this is actually what my ankle looks like right now on the right. It's very swollen. I have a high ankle sprain. The biggest thing about adversity is that it builds character because you don't really know how it's going to affect you. You just have to deal with it. Tomorrow I'm gonna have to play with my ankle like this. It's not ideal, but it's just what I have to do. This is important because adversity isn't just athletes getting hurt. It could be something going on at home, something going on at school, but you have to be able to put it aside and just move forward. And the biggest thing is life. Sports isn't going to be forever. This picture on the left is my elementary school, Nursery Road. This past Friday, there's a kid there named Jeremiah who just battled cancer. And I'm very happy that he won that battle. And there was a parade for him. And we were asked to come out there and support him. And it was really nice to see the kids smile and be excited for someone because this is like what sports is about, going out and doing things in your community and helping like people who may not know it but need your help. And that's all I have. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask away.
Well, Matthew, thank you so much. Do what's right when you think no one is watching because someone is always watching. That is super, super, super important. And that's not just in school, that's in everyday life. First, we want to wish you a speedy recovery with your ankle injury and good luck if you're, if you're able to play, and kudos that the young man has beat cancer. We're always glad to hear that. We do have a question from Emily Wilson, and that question is, from Jolie Truman, a volleyball player at Sims. What made you interested in the FBI and CIA? It's a two-parter. And did your school offer courses that piqued your interest in those areas?
So my school doesn't offer anything that piqued my interest, but I like with playing football, my adrenaline is always high, and that's like a job typically where your adrenaline is high, and I like to help people, and that's like a way you can help people.
And another question is, as a leader, how did you get your teammates to follow you?
I just lead by example. That's the biggest thing in holding people accountable and knowing that they can, like, if I mess up, I want them to say something to me and not just let me walk free with it. Because I'll do the same thing to them. I'm not just gonna let them keep going or giving half effort all the time because that's just like not how you win.
All right. Well, thank you so much again, Matthew, for offering those words to our middle school athletes. Stick around because I'm gonna have to bring Paris back to the screen. We had a couple of questions to come in for you, if you wouldn't mind rejoining me. And the one question, Sims, they have two questions for you. How do you promote leadership in other people? And yeah, that's the first question. How do you promote leadership in other people?
So on my team, I promote leadership. I try to do like fun stuff, and be positive. And also I tell I'll try to help people and tell them if something's wrong. But I expect the same to me. It's not just like one-sided. I expect people to come to me, and I have to be able to take, criticism too as a leader. And so, like, as our seniors, I expect us to step up because we've been there forever. So just really expect the same, back to you. And I just keep a positive mindset and, try to be respectful to my teammates.
And that question was from Savannah Rutter from Sims. And then another question from Keely Williams from Sims, wondering, how do you prevent burnout playing multiple sports, because they play volleyball, basketball, and softball, the same sports that you play? So how do you prevent burnout? That's a great question.
At one point, I was playing like a lot of volleyball, like travel volleyball, but it gets to a point like, I guess like within when you have to realize like, it's too much, like I can't handle it. And so I guess like just knowing my limits, I knew that like, hey, I couldn't play travel volleyball. I just had to play school ball because I knew, it was just getting to be too much. So I just say, make sure you're not overdoing it, because each season travel of volleyball, basketball, and softball is every season of school. So just make sure you're not overdoing it and know your limits.
Okay, and the final question for you is, do you want to continue sports after high school? And if so, why?
So I get this question a lot, especially with volleyball, but no. And I would love to, but the career that I want to be is I want to be a doctor. So I'm thinking like a OBGYN, a women's doctor. And with that, like schedule is going to be very hard because I'm going to have to be going to medical school, and then I'm going to have to get my undergraduate. So it's going to be a lot. And I feel like sports, it would just be a lot to handle. And I just don't think I'm ready to do that.
All right, thank you so much. And Matthew, if you would rejoin me, I do have a couple of questions that came in. We'll take a couple more before we move on to our final speaker. And the first question is, how would you deal with balancing any hardships at home, if you have any, while you're on the athletic team?
The first thing I would do is find someone you trust, like you can talk to. That's the biggest thing I would do. The second thing I would do is I would write down like how you feel. I have like a journal that I use every single day where like it's not really like good or bad stuff. It's just like what was on my mind during the day, because it's just like a release for me. And the last thing I feel like would help if you have something going on at home is just like making sure you set good boundaries between like your home life and your like academic and sports life, because at the end of the day, like you're a person, you're a human too. Like everything's not always going to be perfect. So you just kind of have to know how like you can balance it for yourself.
All right, and the last question for you, Matthew, that we'll take here is from Peyton Hickson, a football player and basketball player at Sims. How do you stay fit and in shape during the off season?
So during football off season is track. So I'll run track. I don't find it that enjoyable, but it definitely helps staying in shape. And the other thing is I'll like go and run and lift on my own. I have to make myself do it because one, you don't want to do it. So it's always easier. Like I always find somebody I can go lift with if it's easier if you have someone to go with you.
All right. And keep the questions coming, because our panelists can see the questions in the chat and they can actually type the answer as well. And so now we'll move on to our final speaker this morning, and she is the Student Athlete Advisory Council President, Kelly Griswood. Kelly is a senior golf athlete at Sumter High School. She is a member of the National Honor Society and International Baccalaureate Certificate candidate. She is also a recipient of academic honors. Award. Kelly is the first priority leader, a member of the yearbook staff, and is the secretary of both the School Improvement Council and her school's Student Advisory Council. After high school, she plans to attend college to major in business administration with a minor in sports entertainment, and to work in Major League Baseball stadium as an operation or public relations director. Similar to me. On September 18th, 2023, she achieved a huge feat in the game of golf, and that is a hole-in-one. Her motto is, take your time, then take the Please welcome to the screen our final speaker, Kelly Griswood.
Thank you so much, Ms. Noble Watson, for that. My name is Kelly Gristwood, and I'm your president of the South Carolina High School League Student Athlete Advisory Council, and I'm going to talk to you about facing adversity today. Next slide, please. So what is adversity? So adversity is continued difficulty and misfortune. You know, you're always, oh man, I wish I got that ball. Oh, you know, I missed that shot. And it's inevitable. Every athlete is going to face it. But what matters most is how you handle it. Next slide. First off, you have to embrace it. You have to know I'm not the only one struggling in this, and that everything's going to be okay. So what I want you to do is just take just a minute and write in your notes and think about, how do I react to adversity? And how does embracing adversity improve myself? If you want, you can put your answers in the comments. I'd love to read them. But let's just take 1 minute and think about that. All right, next slide, please. So the next step to facing adversity is practicing positivity. Always having a negative mindset and always saying negative things just makes things even worse. Trust me, when I first started playing golf and I kept missing the shot, I kept missing the putt, it was just, I don't think that I can do this. I'm just not able, I'm not talented enough. But that just holds you back even more. And you have to find outlets, some ways that you can face that adversity. For me, something that makes me happy is singing and dancing, and sometimes just jumping around and feeling the energy and telling myself, I can do this, I can do it. I just got to put the work in. So also write down 3 things that help you practice positivity. What lifts you up on a bad day? It could be like me, singing, dancing, jumping. It could be talking to your friends. It could be running out for a quick snack, anything like that. Okay, next slide, please. Thirdly, be tough. Everybody can tell you, just toughen up, be tough. That's hard sometimes, y'all. And you have to just know that you are stronger than you know. You have your limits, but you can push those limits. And you're asking, Kelly, like, how do I be tough? What are the ways to be tough? Well, there's 3 ways that you can be tough. You can be physically tough. You just have to focus on your health, focus on, you know, I'm not going to let this get the best of me. I'm not going to be sluggish, and I'm not going to not go to practice. You got to keep yourself to a higher standard than you've set. Another way to be tough is mentally tough, not letting it get the best of you, and just making sure that you're always on top of things, and just remembering, you know, I am worth something and I can do this even if it's hard. And the third way is verbally. Being verbal about it. You know, you can tell yourself in your head, I can do this, but the rest of the world has to see that you can do this. So by having positive mannerisms, positive words, positive outlets, not letting other people know that you're getting down about yourself, helps you in turn feel better about yourself. Next slide, please. So how can you influence others to do the same? How can you help your fellow teammate face adversity? Always just be positive role model. That's really my thing, is positivity, pushing love, pushing happiness, pushing positive mindsets out, because this is what I feel like our world really needs. And you also never know who's watching. Next slide. So in order to be a leader, there's certain things that you need to have. To be a leader, first you have to be a learner. You have to learn new, exciting things. And you also have to learn from other people. As a leader, you're not the only decision maker in the process. You have to rely on other people to learn new things because ideas that they have might not be ideas that you have, but collaboration is a huge aspect of being a leader. Next, you have to be exciting. Exciting, grabbing their attention, making it worth their while, creating a project, that sounds fun and also gravitates people to do the right thing. Next, would be adversity. And we just talked all about adversity and being that positive role model for other people. And then you have to be determined to make things better, determined to show people that you care about the cause. You also have to be effective. And why it all matters. Why are you doing this? What benefit will it have to others, to the world, to yourself? And lastly, you have to be reflective. Am I contributing enough? Am I showing these characteristics to everybody that I meet? Am I being that positive role model? Next slide, please. So I want to explain what is the South Carolina Student Athlete Advisory Council. Well, what we do is we represent all students as South Carolina High School League affiliated schools in all South Carolina. So that means any issues with students or concerns that are brought up, they come to us and we handle them. We also help with championships and we make themes. And this year's theme is In It Together, and we're practicing togetherness and community. We also help make the decisions for our student athletes. We usually meet monthly, and we try and devise the best plans to make your athletic experience better. Next. So I'm the president, but what is it that I do? Well, I run meetings. I start them. I communicate with my peers. I always try to make sure that everybody's on top of things and that we're getting things done. And I'm also a decision maker. What that means is, as a leader, I have to make those decisions to help our council. But I also have to remember that I am not the only one in the room with amazing ideas. So as a leader, I have to present myself in that positive way and positive to the state as well, because myself and all the athletes on the council, we all represent the students and the athletes of South Carolina. And I feel like that is a really big job. Next, please. Oh, yes. This spot can be yours. Just saying, I am a senior. A lot of us on this council are seniors. And like I said, you never know who's watching. The way I got inducted into this council is that somebody noticed me. And when the high school league sent their applications out, they're like, I think Kelly displays the best characteristics. And I had no idea, but I just had to keep up that mindset of love and leadership and positivity. And now I'm here. But here there's some pictures of what I have done. So all the way to the left is the basketball state championships. I was watching my Sumter Gamecocks win, but also I got to be down there and experience the full effect of what it actually means to be with the high school league. Down at the bottom is a team picture with the winning team. And I got to be in there. I don't know if you can see me all the way in the corner, but I'm there. And it was just such a surreal experience to be there. And then Living Clean Spirit Week. If you don't know what Living Clean Spirit Week is, Living Clean Week for the high school league is a week where, we focus on athletes getting no ejections, community service, and really just trying to live a clean, positive life. And we really try and highlight it this week. And what I did is I created a spirit week for my school. You can see we have different days, and just to bring that awareness to the high school league and Living Clean. And all the way to the right is a picture of our Tuesday In It Together day where we all were green. That's some of my IB class, International Baccalaureate. We got together, and those are all student athletes in our school. And we're just showing our support. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me right there, that email, just copy it down real quick. And you can also ask me questions in the chat, but thank you so much.
Thank you, Kelly. Facing adversity. Number 1, embrace. Kelly, stay on screen with me, please, so I have some questions for you. Practice positivity. Be tough. You are stronger than you know, physically, mentally, and verbally. So we have some questions to come in. We'll try to get to all of them. And if not, we'll make sure that Kelly and the rest of our panelists answer your questions. The first question, Kelly, comes from Leela Smuck, a softball and volleyball player from Sims. How can we at the middle school level help reduce conflict within the team and address it in a way that creates a more positive environment for everyone?
Well, first off, I think that you should address the situation. You should look at it from both angles and you should say, this is what I believe is right, and you shouldn't change your view. You should know um, how to be mature about it, honestly. As you progress through middle school, you go to high school, college, and your adult life. Every day you learn new lessons and become more mature in your decisions. And so addressing that problem, being mature about it, not creating drama, and addressing what you believe the problem is and saying, not in a rude, mean way, but hey, I noticed this is going on. I just want to ask about it, why it's happening, and ways that we can move forward with this.
All right. And the second question from her is, how do you balance it all, academics, SGA, all while you're playing golf?
It's hard. I will admit, there's been some late nights and early mornings, but it all matters in the end. As an IB student, junior year, I struggled to remember, man, what is all this work going for? I've got golf, I've got councils, I've got everything to do. But you really start to see that hard work play out, especially like now I'm on the council, I'm getting awards, scholarships, and everything. Um, a real big key to how I do that is organization and time management. I've trained myself to be organized, clean my room, keep up on all my documents, make Google calendars, and I manage my time. I don't want to sit around on my phone scrolling through TikTok. I want to be doing something that will actually benefit me in the end.
All right. Another question is, do you plan to play golf in college?
I would love to play golf in college, but that is up to the recruiters to get me.
All right. And Emma from Riverside Middle, I'm sorry. How do you handle your own personal adversity?
My own personal adversity.
Mhm.
I can say all these things, and sometimes it's really hard to practice. But what you need to do is just take a step back. Sometimes I will just put the phone down, put all of it down, and sit in my room and just think, why am I going through this adversity? Why is this happening? And you never know the answer why it's happening, but you know it's gonna happen. Um, and I reflect, is my phone taking up too much time? Is my schoolwork overwhelming me? What I'm trying to find the root cause of my problem. And once you identify, I think this is my problem, then you can work on that. And you'll slowly start to see that everything just starts getting better. It's really a growth thing, maturity thing. And as you get older, I know that um, it will just start to get easier. The answers will just come up like that, and you'll be like, oh, this is what I have to do. I have to do this in order to progress myself. And it is extremely hard. I will say there is just sometimes I've just wanted to break down and cry and get it all over with, but I know that doesn't do anything for me.
All right, and we'll take one final question live, and then Kelly can answer. She can go into the chat and answer questions. And this one comes from Abner Creek. How do you lead players that do not want to be led?
That is a really great question, and I have experienced this before. And what I've concluded is that you can't change people who don't want to be changed. If you want to help and you want to take them with you, shoot them a quick text, help them at practice. But if they don't want to receive the help, there's really not much more you can do. Because if you start devoting all your time to another person, you slowly start to forget about yourself, and you start failing, and you start noticing things are going different and wrong, and that you don't want to, because you're devoting all your other time to things that, like, other people that don't reciprocate that same feeling. So my advice is to try as hard as you can, but if it doesn't work, that is their decision to make.
All right, thank you, Kelly, so much. And as I said, she'll answer some of their other questions in the chat. And if we can't get to those before the end, we will definitely have her to send them out to you all. Well, Thank you so much to all of our panelists for being with us today, and thank you for our middle schools who were here in attendance. But before we go, we definitely have to bring back Dr. Rodan, who will bring some closing remarks.
I don't think there's anything left to say. I guess you guys can really see why these student athletes are part of our Student Advisory Council. They are amazing. And so just like Kelly was reiterating, you are the leaders of tomorrow. And so we wanted to make sure to bring these athletes, student athletes to you so that you're aware of what you can do right now, today, to spark the interest of your principal and your ADs, because those are the people who are going to nominate you to potentially be one of our Student Athlete Advisory Council members. And so take this leadership on, listen to our officers so that you know how to be a leader in your community, do community service, because you represent a huge deal. You're a big deal to your school, and you can be that influence in a positive or a negative way. Our objective is to get you to be a positive influence in your schools and to bring that community service and leadership. So thank you guys. I cannot thank you guys enough for all of your wonderful words. And these were some amazing questions. I think we had more questions at this leadership conference than we've had in a while. So way to engage with us. And so thank you, thank you, thank you. That's all I have for you. And so back to you, Mrs. Noble Watson.
And thank you. And yes, I must reiterate, those are some great questions, and I see that Kelly is continually answering them. And before we go, we have to tell you some things that's happening within the South Carolina High School League. As Kelly mentioned in one of her slides, this week, we're winding down our Living Clean Week, and we're focusing on sportsmanship. So be sure to engage in good sportsmanship, not just this week, but throughout the entire season. It's very important that you do that. And our Fall Sports Officials Appreciation Week is October 7th through the 12th. So be sure to show your appreciation to the officials who come to your games, who's doing it just because they still want to be around. So once again, I want to thank you all so much for your attendance. Thank our panelists for providing that information to you all, and hopefully you got something that you can take back and utilize as you go through your seasons. And this does conclude our Leadership Summit. Thank you all, and we'll see you at the next one.